Hello and welcome to this holiday edition of Valley View News. I'm Caroline Marriott.
And I'm Star Eisenberg. Here are the top stories.
California Governor Gavin Newsom was in Brazil for the 30th United Nations Climate Change Conference, fighting for a clean energy future. Newsom criticized the US government's absence and encouraged state governments to step up. He said Trump is trying to reverse years of progress by promoting the purchase of oil and gas in the US.
That I want to emphasize to all of you is the state of California has a very different state of mind. California is a stable and reliable partner in low-carbon green growth and will remain a stable and reliable partner in low-carbon green growth. I'm here because I don't want the United States of America to be a footnote at this conference.
Newsom is urging global leaders to invest in innovative technologies and infrastructures that can facilitate a clean energy future. He also signed new international climate partnerships with numerous countries on clean and sustainable transportation, methane reduction, forest monitoring, and wildfire prevention and response.
Heavy rain and strong winds in Gaza are making already dire conditions worse for displaced residents. Years of damage have left much of Gaza's water and sewage systems in need of repair. Recent storms have flooded tent camps, leaving people exposed to cold and contaminated water. Residents say they're concerned about children living in these conditions.
We
were on edge, waiting every minute to see whether the tents would collapse on our heads and we would drown in the water. We didn't quite believe it until the morning, but we had to look after our children in these conditions. There are children here, as you can see. This child was submerged in the water. We carried some of the children, and some of the children have been working to get rid of the water. This is our situation, and it's actually harder than the displacement itself.
Humanitarian groups say aid trucks with food and supplies are waiting at the Israeli border. Israel must approve entry before the aid can be delivered.
6 people are dead and at least 35 wounded following Russia's major missile and drone attack on Kyiv. Apartment buildings were damaged and fires broke out across the city. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky claims at least 430 drones and 18 missiles targeted civilians. The Russian Defense Ministry denies targeting civilian areas, saying it carried out a strike on Ukraine's military and energy sites.
The U.S. military is carrying out strikes on boats suspected of smuggling drugs in the Caribbean Sea and Pacific Ocean. Recent operations have resulted in casualties among those on board. A video released by U.S. Southern Command shows a vessel traveling along what the military calls a known trafficking route before bursting into flames and sinking. Military officials say intelligence indicated the vessel was carrying narcotics, and the strikes are intended to protect U.S. national security. Human rights groups and international leaders have raised legal and humanitarian concerns about the strikes.
President Trump says he plans to sue the BBC for up to $5 billion after the British broadcaster aired a misleading edit of one of his speeches. The BBC has apologized for the edit but denies it defamed Trump and says it will not pay financial compensation. Trump says the lawsuit is necessary.
We'll sue them. We'll sue them for anywhere between $1 billion and $5 billion, probably sometime next week. So I don't know what percentage is owned by the country, but regardless if it's small or large or nothing, I can say this: the UK is very, very embarrassed by BBC, what they did.
The dispute involves a BBC current affairs programme that edited 2 separate moments from President Trump's January 6 speech in 2021. The BBC issued a correction saying the edit gave the mistaken impression that President Trump had made a direct call for violent action and that the clip will not be aired again. The BBC says there is no basis for a defamation claim.
President Trump says he's considering sending Americans rebate checks funded by his administration's tariff revenues. Eligible households could receive at least $2,000. Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, says the administration is reviewing possible next steps.
Something that will require legislation. But if you look at how much tariff revenue has been coming in, then there would actually be enough room to cover those checks and not go into the rest of the budget. So yeah, there would be enough money to pay for the $2,000 checks.
So are you actually actively working with Congress to try to make that happen?
And we're actively studying the matter and getting the numbers straight so the president has all the choices he needs to decide what to do.
President Trump says his tariff policies have made the U.S. the richest and most respected country in the world. A Supreme Court case challenging President Trump's authority to impose tariffs without congressional approval is expected next year.
After multiple years of debate about whether or not to release the Epstein files, US Congress has reached a conclusion. The House passed the bill 427-1 in favor of the release. The only person to vote against it was Republican Clay Higgins of Louisiana. The Senate then immediately passed the bill with no opposition. President Trump has signed the bill. This will force the Department of Justice to make the files public, meaning that they will be searchable and downloadable within 30 days of it being signed into law. Sensitive information relating to the identity of the victims will be redacted. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says he will do everything he can to ensure that every detail comes to light.
And we Democrats, I just had a meeting of 10 of my colleagues, are going to do everything we can to make sure all of it comes to light, and they don't hide evidence against anyone who might be incriminated by these documents.
AT&T has agreed to a $177 million class action settlement over 2 data breaches that affected millions of current and former customers. The breaches exposed sensitive information, including dates of birth, social security numbers, account numbers, phone numbers, and passcodes. AT&T says the data was illegally downloaded and posted on the dark web. AT&T says it agreed to the settlement to avoid costly litigation and remains committed to protecting customer data. Eligible customers can file a claim by December 18th.
The US Food and Drug Administration has decided to remove the black box warning label on many hormone replacement therapy treatments, which women take to reduce menopause symptoms. The black box label was added in 2003 and is the most severe FDA warning label. It stated increased health risks such as breast cancer, heart attack, stroke, and blood clots.
Black box warnings on HRT products discourage doctors from prescribing and patients from inquiring about these products. Those fears shape decades of medical guidance, family decisions, and FDA policy.
However, recent scientific evidence shows that the benefits actually outweigh the risks for many women.
Women have endured sleepless nights, derailed careers, painful sex, broken bones, and a loss of well-being, all because the science was misread.
Medical treatments are serious, and so are the conditions they treat. Our reporter Devlin Jimenez stopped by a local fundraiser known for supporting cancer patients and their families.
Relay for Life is celebrating 40 years of progress in their fight against cancer. This weekend, Los Angeles Valley College hosted the event, bringing together families, cancer survivors, and volunteers for a day of fundraising and remembrance.
On a rainy day at LAVC, Monarch Hall was transformed into a makeshift track for those who signed up to participate in the Relay for Life of the Greater San Fernando Valley fundraiser. For 4 decades, the American Cancer Society has hosted these events, uniting communities worldwide, funding cancer research, and providing life-changing patient support to those affected by the disease.
We have the Road to Recovery. Those are people that volunteer to take patients to their appointments. It also covers some of the medications if people are unable to afford for that. There's a 24/7 hotline.
Since its first lap in 1985, the initiative has grown into the world's largest peer-to-peer volunteer fundraising event, taking place in over 35 countries and contributing nearly $7 billion towards research and patient programs.
For many, these relays are personal. Survivors say that the support found here year after year is a lifeline. Their stories fuel the mission and remind everyone why these laps matter.
I'm still here, I'm still breathing, and I need to be an advocate for those who are in fear, those who don't know where to go, where to turn, and it makes me sad because I've lost lots of people, and survivor's guilt is a very emotional thing because you're still here, but because I still am, I gotta move forward with what I can do, not what I can't do.
Throughout the day, dozens of supporters circled these halls, each lap driven by memories of loved ones and hope for a cancer-free future. Fundraising booths and live music helped give some life to everyone in attendance, with every donation and every lap continuing the mission of creating a world where no one faces this devastating disease by themselves.
Cancer doesn't sleep, and neither do we. Rain or shine, the event goes on.
These events continue to happen every few months in communities across the country. To do your part or to donate, visit the Relay for Life or the American Cancer Society's websites. In Valley Glen, I'm Devlin Jimenez, Valley View News.
Thank you, Devlin. When we come back from the break.
A member of Gavin Newsom's team is facing serious backlash.
A major Republican supporter is turning against her political leader.
And California drivers are in for some major surprises.
Welcome back from the break. Our very own Star Eisenberg takes us inside the last day of a community staple.
After more than 4 decades of service, a Van Nuys landmark is closing its doors, marking the end of an era for a place known for its hospitality and history.
After 42 years of welcoming guests, the Airtel Plaza Hotel and Conference Center at Van Nuys Airport is marking its final day of operation. The closure is a result of the airport's landowner and the hotel's management company being unable to reach an agreement on a lease renewal.
It's a sad day. It's the last day of our job, last day of this beautiful hotel after 42 years. I've been here 8 years, and I feel really sad.
The hotel opened on July 1st, 1984, and quickly became a hub for weddings, conferences, and community celebrations. Founded by San Fernando Valley native Jim Dunn, the hotel combined his love for aviation with hospitality.
This was basically like our country club. All walks of people came here, and that's the part I'm going to miss. And most importantly, the employees, my family. That's the part that I'm going to miss the most.
The Airtel Plaza Hotel's closure marks the end of a long chapter in local hospitality. For many, it's more than a hotel. It's a reminder of the people and memories that made it feel like home.
Governor Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, has been indicted on 23 counts of corruption by a federal grand jury. The Department of Justice announced that Williamson is accused of conspiring to commit bank and wire fraud, obstructing justice, filing fraudulent tax returns, and making false statements. Between February 2022 and September 2024, Williamson allegedly conspired with at least 4 others to steal $225,000 from a dormant political campaign account belonging to Xavier Becerra, former U.S. Health Secretary. At her first court hearing, Williamson pleaded not guilty and was released on a $500,000 bail. If convicted, she could face up to 20 years in prison for each count of bank and wire fraud, up to 5 years for each count of obstruction and false statements, and up to 3 years for each count of filing a fraudulent tax return, as well as thousands and thousands of dollars in fines. Her next hearing is December 11.
Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has resigned from her position effective mid-January. This was announced through a personalized message on social media. Although the Congresswoman did not address her public fallout with President Trump, she says threats against her have increased, including warnings from private security firms and a pipe bomb threat. She says aggressive rhetoric puts her safety at risk.
It's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another.
President Trump has withdrawn his support for Greene, calling her a traitor and a ranting lunatic. He also responded to her claims about threats to her safety.
Marjorie Trader Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
Greene says she still supports the Trump administration and wants to see it succeed for the American people.
U.S. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy has announced that, as a result of a federal audit, the California Department of Motor Vehicles has revoked 17,000 commercial driver's licenses. Duffy claims that California has been illegally issuing driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants and to drivers who failed to meet the English language proficiency requirements. He also claims many licenses have an expiration date that extends beyond the license holder's legal authorization to be in the U.S. Those affected will be notified that their license will expire in 60 days. California Governor Gavin Newsom says the state granted these licenses legally, based on all of these individuals presenting to the California DMV valid work permits that were issued to them by the federal government.
Waymo's driverless cars are hitting LA freeways, picking up passengers across the city. The self-driving vehicles can pick up and drop off riders without a driver behind the wheel. Waymo is expanding service on highways to make trips across the city faster and smoother. The rollout comes as California tightens rules for autonomous cars and holds companies accountable for traffic violations. Waymo says its cars are closely monitored and work with regulators to ensure safety.
President Trump has proposed allowing new oil and gas drilling in federal waters off the California coast for the first time in 40 years. According to the draft plan obtained by the New York Times, Trump plans to have 6 new offshore lease sales between 2027 and 2030. There have not been any new leases in federal waters off the coast of California since 1984, after the 1969 Santa Barbara oil spill disaster, which leaked approximately 4.2 million gallons of crude oil into the sea and killed thousands of marine animals. California has avoided offshore drilling. Lifting this ban would reverse the state's decades-long progress towards restoring the coastline. Not only have environmental groups expressed disapproval, but California Governor Gavin Newsom responded to Trump's proposal saying, "It's never going to happen."
First-time homebuyers are starting later in life. A report from the National Association of Realtors shows the typical first-time homebuyer is now around 40 years old. Experts say high rents, student loans, and the rising cost of living make it harder for younger Americans to save for a down payment. They also say repeat buyers with equity can make bigger offers or pay cash, putting first-time buyers at a disadvantage. The Legislative Analyst's Office says housing costs in California are climbing at some of the fastest rates in the country. In Los Angeles, the median home price is reportedly over $900,000. Officials say this trend means many are entering the housing market later and building less wealth than past generations.
A new approach is offering hope for veterans with PTSD. Psychedelic-assisted therapy pairs substances like ketamine, MDMA, or LSD with counseling to help veterans process traumatic memories. Research shows it can reduce PTSD symptoms in a controlled, safe setting. While some states are supporting further research, federal approval could still be years away. Advocates hope that this gives veterans safe, effective options without having to travel abroad for care.
We'll have the latest in sports and weather when we come back from the break.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Welcome back to Valley View News. Sports action is heating up this time of year, and to give us the inside scoop, our very own Eva Preciado joins us with the latest.
Thanks, Star. There's a lot happening right now locally and nationally, but let's start right here in Los Angeles. The Rams are traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. The Rams are fighting for the NFC West, tied with the Seahawks after a dominant win against the Buccaneers. The Panthers have shown improvement, staying right behind Tampa Bay for the NFC South. The Chargers are back at SoFi as they're getting ready to host the Las Vegas Raiders. Los Angeles is fresh off the bye with key players back and are looking to stay in the AFC West with the Denver Broncos. The Chargers won the first meeting back in September on Monday Night Football 20-9. They're looking to sweep the Raiders for a second season in a row for the first time in 12 years. The undefeated Lakers host the winless Dallas Mavericks with the NBA Cup in play. Dallas will need efficient ball movement to force the Lakers out of rhythm. A win for the Lakers advances them into the next round. The Los Angeles Clippers and Grizzlies square off in a high-stakes West Group B showdown. The Clippers look to continue to improve their record to keep up with the Lakers as they enter the Cup with higher expectations. The Grizzlies are hoping to disrupt rhythm and capitalize on any missteps. Kike Hernandez, longtime utility man for the Los Angeles Dodgers, underwent surgery on his left elbow and will not be able to play for Puerto Rico in the upcoming World Baseball Classic. He underwent a procedure to repair an elbow extension he suffered during the 2025 season. His free agent status adds uncertainty to his timeline for return, as he is hoping to be back in Los Angeles to help them to go for the three-peat. The Pelicans have fired head coach Willie Green following a disappointing 2-10 start to the season. The Pelicans began the season 0-6 and became the first team in NBA history to lose 3 of their first 6 games by at least 30 points. With Green's departure, assistant coach James Borrego will take over as the interim head coach for the remainder of the season. Starting next year, the NBA will change the All-Star format, revealing 2 U.S. teams and 1 international team. Commissioner Adam Silver admitted that the league's revamped 2025 format was a miss and fell short of expectations. The change comes with goals to boost competitiveness and international appeal. The All-Star Game will take place next February at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. That's all I've got from the world of sports, sending it back to you guys.
As we approach the end of the year, the weather here in Los Angeles is finally starting to cool off and stay that way. Our reporter Sunny Day is here to give us the latest in local weather. What can we expect this week, Sunny?
Thank you, Star and Caroline. Sunny day here, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like my name will live up to this week's forecast, as clouds will take over the greater Los Angeles area. So leave your sunglasses at home and grab your beanies and scarves before you head out this week. Cloudy conditions will continue this week right here in the San Fernando Valley. The lows for the area are remaining in the high 30s to low 40s, and the highs will reach the high 60s to low 70s. Moving on over to downtown LA, the sun will continue to hide behind the clouds this week, with low temperatures staying in the 50s and highs in the mid to high 60s. As we move from downtown on over to the beaches, clouds will continue to cover the sky with the lowest temps hovering right around 50 degrees. The highs for the area will be in the low to mid 60s. Lastly, in the Inland Empire, gray skies can be expected throughout the week. Similar to the beaches, the inland lows are going to stay right under 50 degrees, and the highs will be in the high 60s to low 70s. We've got some chilly nights ahead of us, so make sure to bundle up if you're going to be out and about in the evenings. That's all I have for you this week for the weather. Let's hope for some more sunny days ahead. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sunny. When we come back from the break, we'll have the latest stories from Hollywood and check out some Black Friday price drops coming your way. We'll be right back.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Hello and welcome back to Valley View News. You know, Star, one of the things that I really love about this time of year is getting together with family and friends, just watching our favorite TV shows and movies.
Me too, Caroline. And for the newest releases and entertainment info, our very own Leah Woodbury is in the Digital Media Center to give us the scoop. What's going on, Leah?
Thanks, guys. Exciting things have been happening in entertainment across the world. Starting off in Europe, Pope Leo XIV invited dozens of Hollywood stars to a special Vatican audience to celebrate cinema's ability to inspire and unite. Spike Lee, Cate Blanchett, and Greta Gerwig were some of the celebrities present. The first American pope shared his love for film and encouraged the filmmakers and actors to use their art to include marginal voices, calling film a popular art in the noblest sense, intended for and accessible to all. The Vatican is continuing efforts to reach out beyond the Catholic Church and engage with the secular world. Actors in attendance say they were both inspired by the event and surprised to be invited. The Pope highlights the importance of such an event at a time where the film industry and cinemas around the world are experiencing a decline. Artist Bad Bunny had a memorable night at the 26th annual Latin Grammys held in Las Vegas, bringing home 5 awards. The singer's 12-time nominated album, Debí Tirar Más Fotos, received the Album of the Year award. Bunny says the album is dedicated to all the children and young people of Latin America, especially those of Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rican artist says his patriotism is shown through his music. We can expect to see more of the artist in February for his halftime Super Bowl performance and for the regular Grammys, in which he secured 6 nominations. The Screen Actors Guild Awards is undergoing a name change after more than 30 years. The show, most commonly known as the SAG Awards, will now be officially known as the Actor Awards. SAG-AFTRA, the union that presents the awards and represents U.S. film and television actors, say they wanted to provide clearer recognition in terms of what the show is about for domestic and global audiences, and that aligning the show's name to the award itself made the most obvious sense. The name change will take effect next year at the upcoming award show happening in March. The late Chadwick Boseman will be credited with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame 5 years after his death. The award-winning actor, most known for his role as the Black Panther, died of colon cancer back in 2020. Boseman's widow is accepting the honor on his behalf, with Black Panther director Ryan Coogler and co-star Viola Davis set to speak at the event. Boseman's star will be accompanying other Marvel actors, including Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, and Chris Hemsworth, who each already have Hollywood stars of their own. Lionsgate, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, the third installment of director Ruben Fleischer's movie franchise, did great in the box office, topping domestic charts with around $21 million from over 3,000 theaters. Fleischer, also known for directing the Zombieland and Venom movies, says Now You See Me 4 is already in the works. Taylor Swift will have an upcoming deal for Black Friday this holiday season. The artist will have her vinyl record for her The Life of a Showgirl album on sale for around 20% off. We will have more coming up about Black Friday deals in just a minute. There's a ton going on in entertainment news this holiday season, but that's all I have for right now. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Leah. Shoppers may find some big savings at Target. The retailer says it's cutting prices on more than 3,000 items, including groceries and household essentials. Discounts will apply to products like hams, apples, and pie crust. Target is also reintroducing its Thanksgiving meal deal, offering a complete holiday dinner for under $5 per person. The company says it's donating $500,000 to Feeding America to help families in need.
Speaking of price drops, Black Friday is just around the corner. Retailers are expecting a rush of shoppers looking for deals. Our reporter Sunny Day visited local businesses to see how they're preparing for this year's holiday crowds.
Yes, thank you guys. Black Friday wants to find the start of the holiday season. Picture midnight openings, crowds sleeping on the curbs outside of stores, and people scrambling to get to the door first. We take a look around today, and that chaos is history. But the biggest shopping event of the year hasn't just disappeared, it simply moved online.
The single-day excitement has been diluted by year-round deals, causing some consumers to feel a lack of urgency when it comes to taking advantage of sales.
Black Friday happens 365 now. You know, sneaker drops, Pokemon cards, big things at Costco. It goes crazy. So you see so much of it, I think, during the year now that with the internet and everything that's going on, and then the Cyber Mondays, that this actual event has calmed down a lot more.
Yeah, it used to be like a tradition, you know, people get up early and they go do their thing, have some breakfast, and you know, it was an experience.
Black Friday has shifted from an in-person shopping frenzy to an online shopping season, and retail workers are feeling that shift as well.
That digital convenience has fundamentally changed the rules. Customers now calmly click Add to Cart from home instead of wrestling over the last TV. A big difference for retail workers.
The customer really has preferred online shopping over the last 5 years. I would say the crowds, there's no line outside of our mall, there's no line outside of our store.
The era of the chaotic Black Friday rush is over, and what remains now is a longer, more organized sales season that requires new skills from shoppers and new strategies from retail workers. Reporting from the Culver City Westfield Mall, I'm Sunny Day for Valley View News.
Thank you, Sunny. And thanks to all of you for joining us on this edition of Valley View News. I'm Caroline Marriott.
And I'm Star Eisenberg. For updates, be sure to follow our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN. Thanks for watching.